We've been playing a lot of Seven Wonders, Architects, and we thought we'd share our thoughts on it in a few minutes here on Legendary Tactics. So Cax and I have decided to be architects in the Seven
Yes, we have.
Wonders. So
Dive right into the Seven Wonders universe here.
yeah, exactly. So what we played a bunch of these games, Cax. What do you like? What do you like best about Seven Wonders Architects?
I think one thing that I really appreciate about this game is that it is accessible. It's a game I could totally get out with my young children, and we could fire up a game, and I think it's a game that they could totally catch on to pretty quick,
Yep.
and we could have some fun with it.
Yep. As far as the mechanics go, what do you really like about the mechanics and the overall gameplay?
Yeah, I mean it's they're pretty straightforward.
Mhm.
It's there's two different draw piles, and then there's the sort of the mysterious third draw pile,
Yep.
and then you're just sort of working towards building your being that ancient architect as you build your
Yeah.
creation there.
Now
So
we
how
there's
about
the
you,
three
Nato?
draw piles. There's the three draw piles because we're playing two player. If you have more players, there's a draw pile on each side, and you can only draw from one of the two beside you or the main draw pile. So if you're playing like
Oh,
yeah, so there's some powers in
okay.
a two-player game where it's like pick a card from any deck. Well, that's okay in a two-player game, but
Yeah,
it's not necessarily the most the most valuable in a two-player game, but it could be awesome in a four-player game, where you can reach
sure. Okay.
across the table and grab a card you wouldn't be able to normally take. So, um,
Right. And having only played the two-player model with you, that's sort of what I was accustomed to. So interesting to know that.
yeah. So yeah, I think what I like about it, yeah, it's simple. It stays very much in the same aesthetic as Seven Wonders, but it doesn't have it's a completely different game, really. There's other than the sort of some common elements, it's really not that not that similar into Seven Wonders. So,
No,
but
no. It does have its own.
yeah, I like the building the wonder mechanic. I think that's kind of neat. I like the military mechanic where you play these cards with horns on them and they flip over the tokens and
Agreed.
you go into battle, but then the ones with the horns on them disappear out of your army and you only get to keep the ones that don't advance that track. Like there's little subtle things in there that I quite like. I think that it's a very elegant, simple and elegant design, and I think it works well for what it's trying to accomplish. And it's a fun little game. If there's
Yeah,
something
and
you didn't like about it, though, what would that be?
just to add on to those 2 points too, I think it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's
Mhm.
a pretty quick little game,
Yeah.
which I appreciate. I also do like the science track too. You mentioned the military, but I think the science track also adds a nice little also a flavor as well.
Yes. Oh, it totally does. Yeah,
Now, if
because
there's one thing that I think might be a drawback to this game, I think it might be its simplicity is both it's a blessing and its curse. I think it's almost too simple. But that's why I started off by mentioning, playing with my kids. I think they would enjoy it, but I think it's a pretty it there's not a lot of strategic meat on the bone here.
yeah, yeah, and I wonder if you had two experienced players, whether it kind of is going to play to a very similar end. It's always going to boil down to the last little bit. The scores are probably going to be pretty close, because there's really not a lot of variety in like you're only choosing between three cards at most, and the decision space is not a big one, and that also could be limited in replayability as well. I wonder if it could
Yeah.
be the problem. Um, some of the um, some of the aspects of it, I think, like there are some of the green tokens that seem a little bit overpowered in some ways. I guess it's a race to get the best science, but there's some green tokens where I feel like, well, it's not really that useful unless you're playing a certain way, and other ones are like amazing, and you should make sure
Yeah,
that.
that's true too. Yeah, they're really hit and miss on their on how valuable they are.
Yep.
Now that being said, I did want to ask you a question, Nato, and that is,
Mm.
we've also played Seven Wonders Duel, and how do you feel that this game sort of stacks up to that, or does not stack up? And what's your impression of the comparison to the two?
Well, I think, yeah, they're really different creatures, in the sense that I think they're just variations on the theme, and I think that they're good in their own way. I think, as as a game, I prefer Seven Wonders Duel, but there's more strategy involved. It's more of a substantial game.
Agreed.
So
Agreed. I think, yeah, Seven Wonders Duel offers more.
yeah, yeah, but this is, again, it's if it's an end of the night kind of game or whatever, just fire it up, and you know um it's a good finish to the night, and without a lot of brain power required, but it's fun. It's a fun game, and I can never fault games that are this kind of short and simple, for too much, if they're not, you know
No, no, it is what it
deep
is,
in
right?
design. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's
I
good.
I totally agree. It's for me, it's a warm up or a cool down kind of games night activity.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, so I think, but overall, I think it's fun. I recommend it if you like a nice simple game like this. I think it can be a really fun little game, and worth playing if you like the theme and you like the kind of a light civilization type builder type theme. So,
yeah,
any other
and
final thoughts there?
final thoughts is that we just finished a quick little round of games here, and I have to say that sorry to say that I absolutely crushed your bones.
Oh,
So
you absolutely did. You raced to that. You built that monument super fast.
and in the
So anyway, this is our thoughts on the Seven Wonders Architects game. We were playing it on Board Game Arena today.
yeah,
So check it out if you have an interest. It's definitely a fun time, fun little game to try. So
yeah. In the meantime, get out there
yeah, gaming.
and be legendary.